nobody because that banana split was twice your size. Those things like this made to me, that was the best thing. This is the reason why I needed to come here. I wanted to come here. In France, at the time, was basically after the Charles de Gaulle era. Yep. Charles de Gaulle probably being the best president of France. After Charles de Gaulle, everything became a nightmarish country because of the socialists and because all the people that wanted to be inclusive of everybody. More problematic than the French people itself, which now we're suffering from, and that's the Muslim population. Yep. And here you see what's happening in Dearborn, Michigan, and all this in Texas, where they're founding their own towns. And no. This has to be put. These people need to be put back in their place and say, yep. We ain't having any of this.
Assimilate to America and American values, American culture, or don't come here. I mean, that's really.
But you see, they've done this in every country they go to. Unfortunately.
And to me, what's very interesting, maybe not the best way of putting it as interesting, but you see a lot of the rhetoric now against Israel, and it's like, where does all this come from? Aren't they, one of the purveyors of a lot of the American ideals that we have in this country, and it's like, all of a sudden they're the bad guys, against the, Islamic, monarchical, theocratic, regimes.
So I want to touch on 2 points here concerning Israel and Israel and the Palestinian. Palestine was handed by the Israeli, their country, after Israel left them. I think it's 1964, I believe it happened, where they left Palestine and Palestinian with an abundance of technology back for those days, an abundance of just about everything to do with their country as they wish.
Yep. And
who comes around? Hamas.
Yep.
And Hamas is the reason why Palestine and Palestinians are today what they are. Yep. It's going to take a full generation to correct the wrong, unfortunately.
And maybe more, yeah.
My second point is, you were asking me what brought me to this country, etc., etc. When I landed here, I had a $12,000 contract, $1,000 a month plus, which back in 1976, if you put in dollar amount, it's definitely, you can multiply this by 3 or 4.
Right.
I was living the life of the rich and famous. I'm not kidding. Yep. In France, that didn't exist. Gasoline was 49 cents a gallon. I bought my first car, which was a 1972 Pontiac, Granville Pontiac, 400 cubic inches engine, V8, electric windows, air conditioning. Never had this in my life in France. I had the Deux Chevaux, which I still have. I have one today. I just bought one last year. I don't know if you know Deux Chevaux. Citroën Deux Chevaux, I'll show you a picture.
No, yeah.
It is phenomenal. So gasoline. Telephone in France, you had to apply 2 years in advance before you got a freaking phone in your home, which my mom did. Yeah. 2 years it took you to get a freaking phone in France. I come here, 24 hours, Southern Bell shows up at my apartment, install a telephone. I make a phone call to my mom, and I said, you will never believe what just happened. She said, well, what? Guess where I'm calling you from? Well, from a telephone. I said, yes, Mom. But there's a telephone in my home. I called yesterday and they installed it today. She could not. Nobody could believe that, how far advanced everything was.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
And now, do you think that's a lot of those differences still hold true? More so, not as much?
No. Not anymore. Things have changed so much. The three people who founded Home Depot.
Yep. Arthur Blank, one of them.
Arthur Blank and...
I forget their other names.
He was my neighbor in Sandy Spring. Anyway, regardless.
Yeah.
They said...
Ken Lagone, Bernard Marcus.
Yeah. Marcus. Ken Lagone, yeah. Very influential Home Depot person in the background. But Arthur Blank... and Cinemarcus was a neighbor.
Yep.
You're talking about people who had ideas back then of a grandiose thing. They say today, because of all the government regulations, they could not do what they did. And you can see this clearly. When I came to this country, the first week here, I went to a bank, because it's now Regions Bank. Back then it was something, I don't remember exactly the name. I just met the lady 50 years ago that helped me open my first bank account in this country.
Yeah.
And she recognized me. I didn't know who she was.
Yeah.
And she said, you came here with the group of French people to open the Omni? I said, oh, my God. I said, how did you know? and she's the one that helped me open my first bank account. Not only that, they gave you I think they gave us a $300 or $400 credit line. You don't do this today. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist. And the country was a lot more welcoming way back then than it is today. And a lot in part, and I know I'm going to touch on a very, very touchy subject, the division. Back then, the friends that I acquired, black or white, I learned the racial thing, which I didn't have any idea about, for personal reason, through my family, etc. We had friends from Africa, etc., etc. But I learned the racism. I didn't learn it from white people.
Yeah.
I didn't learn it from white people, and it's very, and the opposite side has used that race card forever and ever and ever. My daughter, who made the dean's list as UGA, was refused entry to law school because she was not in that quota.
Yeah.
All right? She ended up going to the University of Miami Law School and got something like $150,000 in debt. I said, the first 4 years of college I'm paying.
Yeah.
Your higher education, $150,000, I cannot afford it. So she borrowed all this money.
Yep.
Because back then, banks just gave you everything you wanted.
Right.
And then today, you have people that cannot repay their loan,
Yep.
that have a 4 or 6 year degree of higher education, so-called higher education, that barely make $50,000 a year.
Right. How does that add up?
No,
Right.
it doesn't add up.
Now, as bad as it's gotten, do you think from all of your experiences elsewhere, there is a better place to, set up a new flag in the ground, start a family, start a business, make your life what you will? Is America still the best place to make the